guy owned it since he told me since 88 or 89, but the title's 82.
Really? Oh, weird.
Registered.
No plate on it? Didn't come with a plate?
No,
Okay.
I got it.
Huh. So you think it was last ridden in 82?
Why, my guess, according
Somewhere
to
in the
it was
80s.
an old guy, because the guy was probably pushing 80, but if you kick it, I mean...
It's got good compression?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah. So what do you think it needs to get running?
gas.
Gas?
I did the carb,
Okay.
and the carb was in a box. Carb's got to get tuned up, probably gas.
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion. I've done enough of these.
Yeah. You didn't want to get it running, or?
I got a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
I got a garage full in the backyard.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm picking and choosing.
What to work on?
Yeah, I got nine running consistently.
Okay.
And I probably got 30 more that's not.
Wow.
So.
Really? Oh, yeah, you have a lot.
I got a lot.
So you typically work on the BSAs then? Is that your main thing?
No, I mean, back there I got BSA, Suzuki's, Hondas, Harleys, Kawasaki. I got Kawasaki back there. I got 71. I've dialed into more the oil in the frames more than anything.
Mm-hmm. I know these are hard to find. I mean,
They're tough to find.
I'm sure guys sell collections eventually, but you're paying top dollar.
They're tough to find. Parts are easy to find.
Oh, good.
You know.
How many miles on this one?
God, I don't know.
27,000. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks like a Honda speedometer you put on it for whatever reason.
Okay. And does it have a key or no?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
If you got problems, I'm up, and like I said, I'm gonna go pack them.
Okay. And you probably have parts and stuff
I
for
have
these?
parts.
Okay.
Parts are easy. Really, if you're not, parts, yeah, there's no sweat on parts. But for $2,000 on the title, you got a good deal.
Yeah. So what's not original on it? Just the gauges.
I get the blinkers off.
Okay.
I get these off and the gauges, and there's on the Royals in this got to be switched into that.
Yeah. So I've never worked on a BSA before. Any tips or tricks?
A lot of videos out there, a lot
Yeah.
of books. Timing is everything.
Okay.
I mean, he timed, I think it's 34 degrees before top dead center.
Okay.
Great looking, I mean, they're fun to ride, good looking bikes. And they're fun to work with.
So does this one have spark then?
I didn't check.
Oh, you didn't even check?
No.
Okay.
I didn't check. I would imagine it didn't, but it's a pure guess, but I would imagine. I wouldn't know why I wouldn't.
Okay. So you basically just rolled this from the garage over here and...
Yep.
Okay.
About 2 years ago.
So you never looked at it or touched... Wow.
Nope. Yeah, car, like I said, car was on. Put the car back together, put that on.
So you weren't tempted to check for spark after you cleaned the carb?
No, because I didn't feel like putting a battery in.
Oh, okay. So what kind of battery does it take then? Just a standard 12 volt?
12 volt.
Okay.
Standard 12 volt. Just do the continuity test to make sure you got positive.
Yeah.
Positive.
Don't want to fry the
If
system.
you don't, you'll see smoke coming out on wires, which isn't good.
Okay. All right, and you said the tank was fine? Oh, yeah.
I'd have an extra tank, but all my tanks, I probably got 15 tanks back there. They're all 71 and 72s.
Oh, okay.
Which is a bread box tank more than anything.
Okay.
Um,
Has the seat been reupholstered then?
I don't know. You know, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, seat's in great shape, but
Yeah.
it's been reupholstered.
So would you take 18 because of the
No,
covers? No.
No, no.
Firm at the 2000?
You got a clear title. Yeah, a clear
Yeah.
title with a bike is valuable right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm already coming on. I didn't counter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 25 and $2,000 takes it.
Okay. All right, we made it back home. We just bought this thing for $2,000, which I think maybe was a little too much, but I've always wanted to work on one of these bikes. This is one bike I've never owned or worked on. So I figured, why not buy it? But this is a 1968 BSA Royal Star A50. So that means it's a 500cc twin. You can see it does have the original pipes on there yet, which is pretty cool. This is obviously a British bike. These were made from 1962 to 1970. They weren't super popular, at least this model wasn't, so this is kind of the rarer model, but the lesser sought after model. Typically these go for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and this one is not completely original, which is probably why it's sold for $2,000. But it looks like the tank isn't original. One of the gauges up there isn't. It's missing the side covers, which are hard to find. I already looked for those. I believe the seat is the original design, but I think it was reupholstered at one point. The wiring looks like it was messed with. There's new attachments on there. The guy said it hasn't ran since the 1980s. But those wiring attachments look like they're brand new. The seller said all he did was assemble the carburetor, put that on, and never even checked for spark, never took the compression reading, never even touched this bike besides putting the carb on. So what I think this bike was is probably a parts bike that was missing the carb, missing the tank, maybe missing the seat, and he had a couple parts laying around and just threw them on there. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But you can see it's a pretty cool looking bike. And today we're going to try to get this thing running for the first time in, what is that, 40 years? So it should be a challenge. Like I said before, I've never worked on a British bike before, so this will be a learning experience for all of us. But yeah, the tank is missing the petcocks, I just realized as well. So that was interesting. Grips look to be possibly original. It's got the mirrors on there, tail light on there, fender on there. Fenders look to be in good condition. Pipes look to be in good condition. I guess the brakes do work. So yeah, it'll be a fun little project. Alright, this bike is pretty heavy, so we'll see how this goes, unloading it. A little walk around of the bike here. Fender was cut at one point. Headlight looks original. You can see there's an amps gauge in here for the battery and a switch here. Oil tank, so oil gets pumped from the oil tank into the engine. So pretty cool. Neat looking bike. Alright, we got this beast in the garage. This one does come with a title as well, with matching numbers on the frame and engine. So if you look at the number on the engine there, A50RB667, and that's going to match the number right here in the frame. So those both match, and then that matches the title. I made sure of that, and the title is clear, so that's all good to go. So the carburetor, you can see, made in England. I'll have to see if that's the original carburetor. It looks to be. I think the first thing we're going to do is check oil. Make sure there's oil in it. So over here is the oil tank. I believe there is a dipstick. We'll take off the seat here. Okay. No dipstick. Let's see if there's any oil in the tank. Alright, there's a filter in there yet. So the filter's right here, must come out and pull out. It's like a screen filter. You guys can see it right there. But there's not a whole lot of oil in there. This is a fiberglass tank. You can see it says BSA Shooting Star 441, so it's not the same bike. It says with famous Victor engine, winner 2 world championships plus 150-mile national championship and 250-mile national championship enduros. So I think it's the wrong tank, but it's probably the right style. But if we take a look at the tank here, I noticed there's some cracking underneath here where the fiberglass is cracking. And then the petcocks are missing. So valves are going to be underneath this cover right here, and we might have to adjust the valves if this engine doesn't start up today. But I think what we're first going to do is work on the wiring. So it looks like we've got positive right here and a negative terminal right here. So I think what we can do is hook up a battery to it and just see if anything turns on. Alright, here's the key for it. Let's get that in there. Alright, so there's 2 settings. I think that's off. I'm guessing that's run and that's lights, I'm guessing. So we'll turn it off for now. I'm pretty sure negative is black on this bike, hopefully. I've done a British bike before, so if it starts smoking, we'll know why. These wires getting hot or anything? Let's, before we turn the key, let's see if the fuse is actually in there. Okay, so it looks like the fuse is missing. So let's see if I have a fuse for this thing. Alright, we found a 10 amp fuse. Let's see if that's gonna work in here. Well, we'll see. Looks like it fits. Alright, see if anything lights up. Oh, there's blinkers are working. One of them. Horn's working. Huh. I think this is blinkers right here. Or headlight. Oh, headlight's working. Look at that. Alright, so I think we've got the wiring hooked up correctly. What are these? Oh, that's blinker. Let's see. Push on the brake here. Oh, wow. Okay. Taillight even works. That's pretty lucky. They're all working. Let's see if we're getting any spark at the plugs here. Take both of these out right away. Get a little oil down there. If this thing has actually been sitting since 1980s, then hasn't been lubricated in a while. Get a little WD-40 in there and a little oil. Just a little lubrication to help it out. Alright, so the engine looks like it was running good according to the plug. You can see it's pretty dark brown at the tip here. So I'm really hoping we get spark. The seller said he never tested for spark. So we'll see. Let's go to the other side, do the same thing. boot off of there. It'd be amazing if we actually did have spark. But I'm guessing those points are dirty. This one's running a little bit richer, you can see. That one's pretty black. So the right side cylinder is definitely running richer. Put a little oil down there. Get things lubricated. See if it's smooth. Pretty smooth. All right. Moment of truth here. Will we have spark? Oh, there we go. Haha! We have spark. Oh, I thought for sure we weren't gonna have it, but we do. Kind of inconsistent spark. There we go. Huh. Yeah, pretty good spark. Nice and blue. Let's check the other side. If the other side has it too, we'll be in business. I think the points still need to be a little bit cleaned. Or timing's off because it's sparking at weird times. Hopefully that's not the case, but we'll figure that out soon enough. See how it's kind of sparking weird? We're not getting a good ground. So we have spark. It's just kind of a sporadic spark. So let's take a look at the points. Alright, so points are right in there. See if those are dirty in there. Get a flashlight and see. We'll measure the points gap too. Make sure that's good. They're both opening. Go down a little bit with those. Try to get that little varnish off of there. There's really not a whole lot of gunk. Get a little sandpaper in there and try to get those perfect. And then we'll check out that gap. See if those are within spec. Alright, a little bit more WD-40. rotate it over a little bit. Okay, now that's closed. Now we can fish some sandpaper in there. There we go. Those are looking pretty clean. Alright, so according to the manual, it says that when the points are fully open, the correct gap is going to be 15 thousandths of an inch. So if they're different from that, they must be readjusted. So let's see. Let's get them fully open. Got our 15 thousandths feeler gauge here, you can see, 0.015. Now let's see when they're fully open. That one's fully open right there. That's a little big actually. So what we can do is adjust those. There's a screw right there. And what we can do is put the feeler gauge in there, loosen up that screw, then move this plate. Right there, looks about right. Tighten that down just temporarily. Now you can see the feeler gauge grabs. All right, I'm calling that good. So we'll tighten that down. Now that slides in perfectly. See, it just grabs onto there. All right, now the top one. We'll do it when it's fully open. Right there. That one's good. Nice blue spark. Okay, well, it's sparking. All right, so we have spark. Let's work on the compression. Let's see what we get here. So on this particular bike, I looked at forums and it said that you should have over 125 pounds compression on each cylinder. So let's see what we get here. All right, we'll do throttle open. See what happens. So we're looking for right around this area. Make sure that isn't compressed in. All right, throttle open. See what we get here. Blew off my cord here. Wow. All right, let's try that again. All right, throttle open. All right, we've got great compression. About 165 on the right cylinder. All right, let's go to the left. What do you guys think? Can we get this lucky? Again, we're hoping for over 125. It's the magic number. There we go. So same on this side. Looks like we're at 165. So that is perfect. So both cylinders have the exact same compression. That tells me that valves are probably fine. All right, the seller said he cleaned this carb out already, but I just want to take a peek at it and see if he did. I don't know how long ago he cleaned it, so it doesn't hurt to take a look, and we'll figure out how this thing works. Alright, slide out. Alright, take a look at the needle. You can see the clip position right there. Interesting. Needle looks good though. Alright, let's take a look at the carb. Now that that's out, take a peek on the inside. So you can see there's two inlets for gas. I'm thinking we're just going to block off one of them for now when we test this thing out. Oh, that's on there. That screw. There we go. Jeez, that was on there. That is very interesting. So you can see that pushes down the float, allowing gas in to prime that. You can see the needle in there is moving up and down, right in there. That float in there. So I think you can pull this out like that. This one says front. I'm all front. That's facing out like that. And then this pulls out. And the needle comes out. I've never taken apart anything like this before. So here's the needle. Looks good. No imperfections on the needle. Float seems to be good. It's working. Here is the pin. So that all looks perfect. Let's see what settings the jets were at here. This one's really loose right here. So we can just take that one out. That one wasn't adjusted at all. We'll have to look up the specs for these, see what this one was at. 1, 2, 3, about 3.5. Alright, that looks like the main jet right there. A little crusty stuff in there we can clean out. Main jet is clear. That looks good. Looks like we're running a 190 for the main jet. You can see on here. 190 there. Looks like there's a spring. Push that out. I don't think that's gonna come. There we go. So this pulls out like that. Alright, so it looks like this right here is your throttle control, because that goes up into there and controls your throttle speed. This one looks like it controls this jet right here. Okay. There's the pilot right there. So this controls the fuel from the pilot jet. So this is like our fuel screw right here. It looks like. So we're gonna blow through everything, make sure everything's clear, spray everything out, and we'll reassemble it. Yep, it's going in through there. You see it coming out through right here. So everything looks pretty clear. Well, let's do a once over and then reinstall. All right, so I read in the forums a lot of guys set this screw, this idle mixture screw, to 2 turns out. This one's usually set to 3.5 turns out. That's the idle. So that was set to 3.5. This one was not set at all. So we just set that to 2. We can adjust that as well once we get this thing running. All right, so there's a couple different places for oil on this machine. So the first one we're gonna talk about is the gearbox oil. And this is where you add oil to where this plastic little dipstick is. And you just put as much in as the dipstick calls for. So there's a big nut on the bottom of the engine. I'll show you guys where we can drain that. Let's see if you guys can see it. Right there. So that is where you drain the oil for the gearbox. So let's just see if there's any oil in there. This should have a dipstick on it. And it looks like there's some in there. Looks pretty fresh too. That's weird. All right. Now we'll twist this back in. There we go. The bike is still not straight up and down. Here it is. Right there, straight up and down. Let's see how much oil we have on the dipstick. About halfway up. So we can add a little bit to that. So we're just using some gear oil here. Just gonna fill that up a little bit. Let's see where we're at. So it was just a tad low. Yeah, so now we're all the way up to the line. So that looks good. All right, on to the next spot. So this is the primary right here. And this is the left side of the engine. And this is for lubing the primary chain, clutch plates, and whatever else is in here. So it actually has a drain in one of the bolts that holds the side cover on. So I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's down here. There's a little Allen down here. I'm guessing that's where it drains from. But people say it's best to remove the cover and check all the fluids. But for this side cover, you can just use ATF oil. So I'm just gonna take a dipstick and kind of look in these covers if there's any oil. Visibly inspect that. All right, so that's your clutch adjust. See if there's anything in there. Yeah, there's a little bit in there. You can see some oil on there. Yeah, so there's oil in it. If this thing fires up, we'll take this side cover off and make sure there's enough in there. I'll have to look at the manual and see how much it requires. It looks like the primary takes 4 fluid ounces of ATF oil. So that's not a whole lot of oil in there. So I'm guessing that's why you have to stick the dipstick way down there. The gearbox oil, you want 14 ounces of oil. And it looked like that was good because we have the dipstick. So now the last one to check is the engine oil, which we can check in the tank right here. And we saw that that was pretty empty. What you can do is take this bolt out right here and drain the tank. And there's a little screen behind there that we have to clean out. Alright, that was pretty loose on there. So what we're gonna do is put a funnel underneath there, like that. Take a look at this oil screen. So they recommend just cleaning this off with some gas. All right, oil screen is cleaned off. Put that back in. And we'll get some oil in the tank. So if you want to drain the entire thing, which we'll do if this thing fires up, is right here. There's 4 bolts. This plate comes out and that will drain the engine oil. Just gonna pour a little in here, just so it has some oil flowing to the engine here. All right, I'm sure a lot of the oil is already in the engine. It will get pumped back to the tank here on the first start. All right, we robbed a gas tank off of a dirt bike just for temporary use, so we can get gas to the carb. Then we blocked off the second inlet for the gas. So now we're only running 1 inlet to the carburetor. So let's get some gas in here. We'll see if this thing fires up for the first time in 40 years. We've got gas going to the carb. Let's see if it fires up. We're gonna be wearing the boot for this one. Okay, here we go. Nothing. All right, that sounds really good. Wow. Looks like it's leaking some oil though. Let's see. Oh, there's somewhere. Oh man, leaking quite a bit. There's a spot behind here that looks like it's leaking from. Jeez. I wonder if there's like a hole in the case or something. It's just leaking. Where would that be from? That's not good. Looks like it's coming right from the chain area. Oh, what the heck would that be from? Must be like a seal blown or something in there. But we're gonna try to get this thing to idle. We're close. I'm interested to see if the tank filled up with oil here. It's all bubbly, so it looks like it's coming back to the tank, which is good. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to idle now. Engine sounds really good. Not leaking any more oil. Maybe we overfilled it. Not too bad. I think the oil leak stopped. I wonder if we just had too much oil in it. Let's see. Yeah, the tank is about half full now. You can see all the bubbles in there. So, I think we just overfilled the oil. Right here, for the tack, you can see it's missing like a screw down. So oil's just dripping from there too. We'll have to find a piece for that to work. And the carb is leaking everywhere too. So we'll have to deal with that, but it runs good. It runs really good. Revs out completely. Yeah, sounds really good. Not leaking a whole lot anymore. I don't know if that's a chain oiler or what. Alright, so the carburetor was leaking from a couple different spots. It's leaking right from here, so I'm guessing this gasket is ripped or torn in a spot here. I might put a little gasket maker on both sides of it and reattach that, because that was causing a problem. It was leaking pretty good. Let's see. I think from here, pretty sure that's supposed to have some type of gasket on there, wouldn't it? Because what's preventing gas from coming out of there? There's literally no gasket there. Let's see what this one looks like. That looks good. Alright, we've got the carburetor back on, and you can see there's still a leak right from here. So that gasket must be bad. Looks like we fixed the other leak though. We don't have any leaking over on that part by the main jet. So that's fixed. We just have one leak to deal with here. So looks like we need a battery for this thing. I'm gonna look up and see what size fits in here. And then probably a battery strap of some sort to keep the battery in. I don't know if there's a battery box that's supposed to be here. It looks like there are some pivot points here that swung open maybe. I'm not sure. But we need a battery, we need a carb kit, because that gasket keeps on leaking, you can see. And then we need the petcock for the gas tank. So this one's a dual petcock. So we're gonna have to find ones that work for that. And then we have to repair the gas tank up there. And then we need the gas tank hold down. Okay, look for a piece for right here for the tack, so that can stay put. And then I want to go through all the oil and change everything out. Get some new plugs for it. And I think that's pretty much it. So I don't think it's going to take a whole lot, as long as we can find these parts. And I have no idea if this thing's going to move yet. We have to test out the transmission next video as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the process of picking this thing up and then diagnosing it and getting this thing to run for the first time in 40 years. The guy said this thing hasn't ran since 1980s, so it's been right around 40 years since it last started up, and it sounds really, really good. Sounds really healthy. I'm thinking it's a low mileage machine. You know, having that much compression in each cylinder and sounding that good and idling perfect. That's pretty rare for a 1968 bike. So I'm pretty happy with that. I paid $2,000 for it, and that's probably a little bit too much, but to me, it was fun learning about the British bikes. And you know, next video we'll dig into the valves. I'll show you guys how to adjust those, and we'll take off that side cover piece over here by the clutch, look into that, and hopefully get this thing up, running, and driving, and we'll take it for the first ride. So stay tuned for that video, and that will be the first ride in over 40 years, and it'll be cool to get this thing back on the road again.